Yeah, they
Um,
super fell off. Possibly just because like online is just not reliable
oh yeah,
for input dexterity, of which Peach
yeah,
has plenty of it. And
yeah. You definitely want a good connection if you're gonna play Peach online.
and I know like FD is normally a good stage, and
Ooh,
much for these exact reasons. You get those auto cancel air trains going, and oh lordy, but you just allow Pac-Man to have so much control. That being said, if you never let him establish center stage, then you're
yeah,
probably feeling pretty good.
yeah. Ack has come out of the gate flying. Um, however, at T34 holding onto that first stock, weathering the storm, and now slowing the pace of the game down a little bit. You see Ack using that float at center stage, trying, responding to that throttle from T34. Um, and we're gonna see how Ack is able to play when the pace of the game slows down like this.
Yeah, I really like the just immediate adjustment from T34 standpoint. Like, yes, Peach can really blow you up, but after the initial combo string, the pacing of the game has been all his. And by setting up Hydra and using it as an effective wall, those big openings you really have to start to minimize. But you're giving yourself more time to adapt and make this comeback, so long as you extend this stock one to the best of your ability.
Right. And it looks and after that really explosive opening from Ack, Ack looks a little tentative here. But that's if ever there was something that you could describe as a little too tentative, it was that bell punish right there.
Yeah, just kind of unfortunate. Okay,
Yeah, okay. No one has ever punished a Peach recovery in 21 years. It just doesn't happen.
no,
Um,
we've end with the winky face on top. Another one. Okay, good luck
mhm.
today on these turnip pulls, and that's pretty huge because depending on the turnip that you pull at one time, it could be the difference between 70% and death. But that key is gonna be huge, especially with the with how Ack has been displacing himself from T34, playing this super full stage, like pull turnips, and I'll come in at my own pace. And that's
Right.
exactly what Key is built for.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm glad you mentioned that because that hasn't really been on my mind. We haven't really been seeing much of the key. Um, T34 seems a little more content to set up Galaga combos and maybe use like we're seeing a lot of Galaga, we're seeing a lot of Bell in combination with the Hydrant. Not so much like the raw damage from Key. I wonder when it's going to come out because, as you mentioned, that's a very, very powerful tool.
Yeah, and especially on a stage like FD where you have that full screen punish, but watch out because Peach gets one hit, she can take you to the full stage. Oh, man, the percent was starting to look so good for T34, but just one combo and suddenly it's even and right back into almost into
Ooh,
Ack's favor.
there's that Key you were talking about. Um, now, so this is how Pac-Man games can tend to get really, really frustrating.
Wow,
Okay.
this
Oh
is so
no.
unnecessary. But
Okay,
you got it.
T34. We gotta talk. We gotta talk.
Let me take this free F smash that would absolutely have killed, and just try to be or this free back air that maybe not have killed, but absolutely gives you positioning, and
Yeah.
just throw it all away like he
Ooh,
is
there
the
it is.
key. Yeah, can't drift to ledge twice
Yep.
in twice in the same game. Like it's not that unpunishable.
Right.
You know what's crazy? After the explosive opening of the first stock, Ack has not landed another down tilt, but been landing plenty of
You.
fairs. So
I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
hey, I
That is
mean,
that's wild. And it really speaks to the instant adjustment that TA34 was able to make. Um, avoiding that grounded game, those grounded combo starters from Peach, which is such a pivotal component of her game plan.
yeah. Well, Peach does get to have plenty of time to pluck as many turnips as she needs. Hasn't like the winky faces have been ready and waiting, but nothing else too ridiculous. I almost want to
True.
see instead of trying to force your way in, sometimes like, hey, go farming. Try to
Yeah,
see if you can pull
exactly.
something that really makes really either puts the fear into T34 or makes a huge difference, like a bomb or a Stitch Face or a Mr. Saturn. So good combo here.
And we haven't seen any of those real X factors here from ACK, despite pulling a lot of turnips. I mean, this isn't Blazing Pasta RNG we're talking about here. This is ACK has been in a little bit of a drought here.
Yeah, not to sound like a normal turnip isn't good, because it very much is. But if you have the time, like, might as well look for those haymakers. Ooh, that is a really solid chase.
That's a haymaker right there. Oh.
Okay, you get one.
T34 fully calibrated. Now has the bell punish. Okay, nobody drops a bell punish 4 times in a row.
Luckily not for T34 Snake, because that was getting a little bit spooky towards the end of that game 1. But man,
fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times.
Not anymore. I'm almost looking at how ACK played that, and they did play it pretty well, especially given the struggle that Peach can have when characters or players can reliably start to punish float, which Pac-Man can do by just throwing something at Hydrant and watching it bounce. But they played that super well. They just seem to really lose that initial head of steam that they got in game 1, which certainly only would favor T34 in a long, drawn-out fight.
Yeah, and that you raise a good point. T34 definitely seemed to have, even beyond not really seeming phased by the opening onslaught from ACK in game number 1, T34 had, immediately settled into the game plan of, okay, get fruit, get bonus fruit, get Galaga, get Bell, get Hydrant out, and set up that wall and set up those setups. It's that sort of frustrating gameplay that players can really struggle to find an answer to. I mean, Pac-Man gives you the time to do it, but if the RNG just isn't there, I don't know if plucking turnips is the way to go. If you're not getting those at least 3 to 4 hit strings off of those turnip conversions.
Yeah, you can only kind of pluck away little by little against Pac, who almost reliably gets some, can reliably counter hit, especially with some of his crazy aerials, and we're seeing that differential right here. It could be a little bit of, like you said before, from game 1, where you just haven't seen a Peach in a while, so it took a moment to adapt, but once he did, T34 really looking like he is just in control.
Oh my god, there was so many hits.
But none of them landed on.
It hit the bonus fruit twice, and then
Oh, okay. RAR Dare was the option. I respect the multi-hits, but the RAR was certainly interesting. I mean, you're trying to play in stage as the bell goes rocketing across.
T34 is a trickster. T34 is absolutely up to something with those bells. I don't trust T34 for a minute.
He's got the bell in hand. He can wait.
That stage does not look safe right now. Especially with Peach at those percents.
Yeah, this first stock is going to mean so much. The Winky Face coming in clutch, but the Apple in culture. Good flow. He sees it and it's like, I don't want to even risk getting touched by anything right now. Yeah. So
he's just hanging on it by a thread here. But Crown, the great equalizer, Peach saying, "Kiss that ring, respect my royal mandate here."
Peach certainly walks with an authority, and with the authority of a top tier that you do have to respect, because at 163 now we're dealing with a Peach with rage, and like we saw before, there is certainly room to be afraid, since ACK does have the float cancel nair combos on deck, which can be a stock with the right starter.
And ACK also recognizes that they have no reason, you would like to get some extra credit damage here, but now you're forcing T34 to figure you out. Finally getting pot shot with that apple and not getting any damage down, which now doesn't feel, there's a little bit of a hangover now. It's like, oh, you feel really good choking out you know, that like about a minute off the clock, but you didn't really do anything with that minute either. And now sitting at the percent difference. So you're gonna have to go back to, you're gonna have to clock back in and go back to work like, you know, one of the normal peasants here.
Yeah, and T34 is just so willing to wait for ACK to get hit by something like safe, like get clipped by this Galaga, fall into this apple. Like there is 3 minutes left. Yeah, 3 minutes left, and he's gonna use them to wait and see what ACK gets hit by and capitalize off of it.
Absolutely. And it, like, this is, you can tell that that T34 is very, very accustomed to this kind of playstyle. Nice pinball back air there. But you can tell they're very accustomed to this playstyle because like every little seemingly like niche interaction with the hydrant water and the bonus fruit, they seem to like be fully prepared for, which to me as a simpleton seems very, very impressive.
Especially when with stuff like this, look. Okay, so I don't know how that bell didn't hit, but it makes me think that on one frame it was on one side of Peach, and on the other frame it was on the other. So
yeah,
fortunate for ACK in that regard, and it gives them this chance. It gives them this chance to just maintain center stage. Peach loves FD for these reasons because punishing landings it's a lot easier.
You floats back into it. That's really, really costly. I was about to say how like Peach's raw damage output vastly eclipses Pac-Man's. Just on like any single hit, like you see right there. That's a lot of damage. That's a very, very easy, reliable damage. If you can get your gloved hands on Pac-Man, then you can get the damage. But you have to hold on to these stocks because Peach is not a tanky character.
The air dodge. Trying to scout out the air dodge was huge, but now you can go down here and wait. No, he still got some recover. He sees that he's in range of a 2 spring, so trying to intercept that would only spell further danger. But now you've got to figure out how do you get past the wall that T34 keeps building back air.
Whoa! Timely roll there from T34.
Just nothing. A lot of close calls going in T34's favor right now, but that down air.
Okay,
Pac-Man can still recover.
It's Pac-Man. Yeah. Okay. Luckily able to exit hit stun early enough to get that side B out. But now the onus. Okay. Good find of the forward air. And now it's T34 who didn't really get a whole lot done with their time with the stock lead, and this is. This percent lead is basically even.
I can very
minute on the clock, we
easily
could
see this
very easily go to time here. Yep.
Yeah. But it's still, the ball is still in T34's court though. He can still play. He can play to the clock. Well, ACK is gonna have to start approaching. But big nair and big fairs like that can just flip the paradigm right into ACK's favor. And Peach's chip damage is just so good.
That's all it takes is one nair, one back air, one forward air, and now Pac-Man has to, or T34 has to hit the gas.
I really like how
the time is running out. You don't have time to get these setups. You're gonna have to find something. You're gonna have to find it now because clock is ticking.
I like that ACK wasn't giving T34 just like allowing them to take space for free though. They are still trying to play this game.
Oh no! Okay, it's 5%. So even. It's so even.
It flipped. 3% difference now, but one raw hit will take it, especially with this bell on deck. A switch to the key. 10 seconds.
Out of time to pull turnips if you're gonna do it. If you're gonna do it, ACK, you have to go and find the hit. T34 is gonna go out there. He's gonna just gonna plank this out. Oh my! ACK finds a hit. ACK finds a hit. ACK had the plan the whole time. Never in doubt, never tested, never winded. ACK finds, and again, that is the power of Peach. Every single one of those aerials is going to like eliminate that percent lead there. And so T34 maybe started planking down below the bottom of the stage a little too early.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It looked like one player in ACK was just willing to scrap, but not trying to take too much time doing it. They were just they were taking space when it was allowed. They built up such a huge lead before the getting it turned around on them with a quick Galaga combo, and they were patient but cognizant of the time. While it looked like T34 acknowledged that the win condition was the timeout at like 45 seconds and surrendered a lot of ground because of it. So just feeling a little bit too concerned, and ACK never giving up until literally the last second, and that's all they needed.
It's and it's a really it's one of the slimmest margins of a timeout I've seen in a while.
Yeah, one that didn't really. Well, it certainly felt like a timeout stock 2, but they were vying for that lead in stock 3, and we'll have to see if the same situation plays out on Town and City. It's very similar to FD, and understandable why you wouldn't want to go there. Yeah. But these added platforms, they'll either help or hurt you. Sometimes, in case of the transformation we're going to, they more favor Peach because of the wider sides and the small side blast zones. But with the tri-platform layout, gives Pac-Man a lot of room to run.
And what's I mean, not my final point about game number 2, but what's really interesting to me is that both players opted for that time, or for that long game strategy, that the playing to time strategy. They both players really tried to slow the pace of the game down and play safe when they had leads. And I wonder if we're going to see more of that if and when we get a KO in this game. We might go 7 minutes without a KO here.
Hey, who knows? Especially
anything could happen.
with ACK holding on to fruit like that. That's a big thing in the Pac-Man matchup. If you can get your hands on the bonus fruit, then Pac-Man's resources suddenly slim to a very small margin. But the trade hugely into ACK's favor.
Yeah, ACK's been going in aggressively on those hydrants. It feels like a tyrant sometimes, but ACK's been going aggressively in on those hydrants all set, and very often has been getting punished and by being a few frames too slow. But that time, able to find maybe the most critical stock so far of this set.
And I mean, we saw this in game 2, right, where ACK got the stock lead and didn't really do anything with it. 16% isn't all that much in the long haul, especially given how this game really seems to be milking the clock.
Yeah.
But I can respect the playstyle, because in these even games where both players are roughly similar skill levels, finding means to approach get that much harder. And hey, might as well use the time
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, certainly trying to extend this lead here. It's at 172 and still living with the hydrant. That's
the DI from ACK has been on point all night. Well, the night is still young, but I suppose small sample size aside, it has been there when needed. Although again, there's another aggressive hydrant challenge, but this time ACK getting losing the exchange and losing the stock for it.
But I feel like you still try to make that challenge. You cannot respecting Pac-Man's hydrant is a double-edged sword, as the dot eyes connect.
It doesn't recatch, but still, at least finding the hit, you'll take that. And that's the first, with how long these games have gone and how many turnips have been pulled, that's the first dot eyes or stitch we've seen in any of these 3 games.
God, that's such unfortunate luck. Nothing you can do about it, but GG's universe. I guess you really didn't want me to.
And it sort of forces you into that gambler's fallacy of if I just keep pulling, I'm bound to get one soon.
But we can always fall back on All Reliable, which is basically of Peach's aerials, but especially that forward air. Ooh, that's gonna rock T34 socks off, and now he's in a much larger deficit than ever before.
That's right.
See what he can do with it.
Good match there. ACK giving nothing away for free here. Ooh, okay. Almost got into a sticky situation from the fire hydrant water. And again, another aggressive trade, and that did end up being a trade. Both players taking some damage there, and that's a really good cleanup, and a good cleanup and a quick cleanup from T34. I think that probably saved this game from going to time, but one of these players is going to have to hold on to one of these players is going to have to have a 3-minute stock, which I think is unlikely.
49%. Now it's time to it's pull turnip, jump, double jump, toss. That is the game plan that ACK has subscribed to. And I guess we've got 2 minutes to see how it goes. But T34's not trying to do anything either.
You have to think that, like, on some level, some of these players, they get on stream, they know they're on stream, they got all their homies in the chat, they're watching, and there's like, you know, we had one timeout already. You know, I think I can win another one. If nothing else, this is a really good warm up if you're able to make it out of this set alive.
Yeah, you're definitely feeling warm, if not a little bit anxious, but. Yeah. That can be some Peach matchups sometimes. Like, she can go toe-to-toe with zoners just because of her sheer, like, raw damage and able to gain and then subsequently maintain leads. But you have to play matchups very slow because of it.
Yes.
As a huge parry gets another quick 25 and climbing.
Oh my gosh.
You almost died.
Okay, that probably takes care of the timeout. That probably takes care of the timeout. That is ACK going straight for the juggler with that parasol, finding that up B, and getting that snipe off the top, and getting that game 3 win after. And again, it's the change of pace that ACK was able to pull off several times throughout that set that got them